Look who's back. I hit the wrong button. Hey. It's a day. I blame chicken wings. Hello, welcome back to Total Spotfest. With our full complement of panel here, we want to welcome back Austin Reddick. JB Faulkner's over there. JJ Brownlee talking at you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. We got a lot to get to. Jamie, Austin, how has your week been?
He's been gone. Let's let him start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good week. I missed the show last week. I was out seeing the Gaslight Anthem, one of my favorite bands of all time. And not only that, but seeing them in Wichita where nobody lives. So there was like 150 people there. I was right up against the rail.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
It was phenomenal. Yeah, solid weekend. Went out to Central States Wrestling near y'all's neck of the woods in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Solid show, solid turnout out there. And then, rolled right into the week. A short week for me, getting ready to head to California to see some more live music and enjoy the sun for a weekend. So, things are going pretty well.
Getting that music fix in, man. It's been a hot minute since I've been to a concert. I need to get some, you know. My problem is, like, most of the concerts that I want to see roll through on like a Tuesday evening, right? You know, like Tuesday at 9 o'clock, and I'm now too old to like make that work. Unfortunately,
old people problems. You got old people problems, bro.
It's hit me. Jamie, how you been, man? I know you're getting near the end of softball season for the year.
Well, technically, this past weekend was the beginning of softball season. We had our first tournament this weekend, and all of our games were late. Like, we had our first game at 4:30, then 7:45, then 9:15. So there's no way in hell I could have went to CSW, because actually I wanted to go to CSW until I got that, because I wanted to see him, and then maybe I can get Audrey off my back about going to some live events. But she's going to AEW on Tuesday, so that's a hell of a time. And Heather is back. I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if pneumonia is an old people problem or just it happens to some people every once in a while. But we're
pneumonia was like 10.
Yeah, no, but other than that, man, life is pretty good. Taylor Swift is still undefeated as a Chief fan, so we're going to keep that. Yeah.
So, okay, Jamie, as we got a lot of wrestling to get to. I don't want to take too much, but I do want to ask our resident Chief fan on the dais here. Okay, Taylor Swift thing. Do you care? Do you not care? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you not give a shit? Well, like, where are you at?
I mean, we're already the greatest team in all the land. So what's one extra fan? In all seriousness, I really don't care. But I'm a superstitious guy. Always have been. Always will be. And if we keep winning while she's there, she cannot miss a game. That's all there is to it.
She gotta show up.
She's gotta go until we lose. And then when she loses, hopefully she'll leave. And then that mustache that Travis Kelce is rocking, because he cannot rock a mustache like some other people can rock a mustache. One of them's on this show with a glorious mustache. But now it's a beard.
Yeah, it's growing underneath. The mustache didn't get trimmed, so it's still bigger than the beard.
It's noticeable, the difference in stash and beard. Unlike, see, I'm like, it all goes together, but you got definitive mustache plus a beard, right?
See, yeah, I've never done it this way before. Like, I've grown out the beard from nothing, but I've never had the mustache big first and then let the beard just keep growing underneath. So we'll see how long it goes. But the stash will always be bigger than the beard, regardless of beard length. I'm kind of hoping eventually I get the Viking thing going on, where the mustache is hanging in front of the big beard, but I don't know if I have the patience for that.
At one point in time, I wanted to kind of go and do that, but then it was just like, my problem is, and now we're getting way off the rails here. My problem is growing it around the sides of my mouth. I can't handle. I can grow it. I can grow hair anywhere below my eyeballs, basically. Anywhere below my eyeballs, hair grows. Okay, it just gets in my mouth and drives me crazy, and I end up just gotta get rid of it. So, sorry, Jamie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I got two things for you. One for you and one for you.
All right. Well, we'll get into it. I will say this about the T Swift thing, because it is the most important.
They're gonna last because opposites attract, and it's just the most wrong relationship that you can think of. It's gonna work out.
So if
it's gonna work out,
it's gonna work perfectly. It's gonna work perfectly. So all my friends from college, my fraternity brothers and we have group chat, right? During the fall, it's mostly them talking about the Chiefs with, occasional ribbing of the Steelers. And when the Chiefs lose, I get a poke in here and there, right? We chat on Saturdays. Saturdays are wonderful this time of year, I will say that. Go Tigers. But they're all they're much like you, Jamie, in a different manner. They're superstitious, but they don't think this is good for the Chiefs. They're like, this is going to be terrible, all this stuff, except for one of my brothers, who is, you would love him to death, man. So he keeps posting all these like pop gossip stories in the group chat just to piss everybody off. And it's fantastic sitting on the bleachers watching these grown-ass men lose it about some TMZ article that my friend is obviously trolling you over. It's fantastic.
All right, well, let's move on.
Let's talk
what people
about
want to be here for.
Yes. So thank you all for participating in our algorithm improvement segment. But let's talk about WrestleDream, because we didn't have a post show for WrestleDream this past weekend. It just wasn't going to work out this past Sunday. So,
Chiefs.
Lots of stuff going on. So let's talk about WrestleDream. We're gonna talk about the in just a minute, but we're gonna get this out of the way first.
He does.
So, we had our pick competition. One of us did pretty good. One of us did excellent. One of us was like the Pittsburgh Steelers and could have stayed home. And then there was Megan. So our picks are as such. And I'm just going to go through the card real fast and give you the result and the picks. Then we're going to talk about what we liked about it and everything. So there's a bunch of stuff on the pre-show. Some good things they had happen with that there. They pulled some more familiar Northwest talent, which I like to see, which is good. But the show itself, I don't have these in order, so I do apologize. Okay. But we have from my left to the right, we have Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland. We all picked Hangman. We all got that wrong. Swerve won, of course. We all did get the tag title correct because FTR versus Aussie Open, which was a fantastic match. FTR won. We all picked that. The ROH tag title, which opened the show, was MJF versus The Righteous. Austin, I decided to go with The Righteous. I don't know what your thinking was, Austin. I was like, well, Adam's hurt. Maybe they're going to get the belts off of them because we don't know how long he's going to be out. Right? That was my thought.
Yeah.
We were wrong.
They didn't do that.
That was not smart on us because it's MJF. MJF wins. Fantastic kangaroo kick. The Don Callis family, including Will Ospreay, who may or may not be part of the Don Callis family. I don't know. Taking on Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Chris Jericho. Jamie, myself, and Megan all picked the family. Austin picked Omega and the Golden Lovers, and Don Callis family won that one. Then you had the ROH Championship. ROH and New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. They have such long title names. Duel being held here. Eddie Kingston versus Shibata. We all picked Kingston. Kingston won. TBS title. We all picked Chris Statlander to beat Julia Hart, even though my heart was with Julia. My brain was correct because Chris Statlander did win. Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., Jamie's wet dream of a match coming to fruition. We all picked Danielson. Danielson won. And then this is where we start to kind of deviate a little bit here. So we had Ricky Starks versus Wheeler Yuta. Everybody picked Ricky Starks except for JJ, for whatever reason, picked Wheeler Yuta. That was a mistake because Ricky Starks, of course, won.
Didn't that eliminate you right there?
I think that's the match that you officially eliminated me. Yes. I think that's when you officially eliminated me. I had plenty of losses here on the day. The two matches, so we had the number one tag team contender match, and I drank the Kool-Aid that Jamie was selling, and I went with the Guns. I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. I don't know if they'll cash it in the same night, but I like that. I'm going to go with the Guns. Jamie went with the Young Bucks, and I'm like, man, that's probably a smart pick. Both Megan and Austin went with Hook and Orange Cassidy. No love for the Lucha Bros, at least in the pick department. Love them otherwise.
Yeah.
Young Bucks get the victory. This is when Jamie secured his victory because we had one match left, and I'm already out of it, and everybody else picked the correctly. So the TNT 2 out of 3 falls match. Christian Cage was picked by Austin, by Jamie, by Megan. JJ picked Darby Allin because JJ went against Swerve Strickland, and JJ figured that one of the Seattle homeboys was going to win. I went with Darby, so I got a double wham on that. Christian Cage, of course, retained, and that means your winner is still Jamie. Final score.
I was one away for a perfect score.
You were so close. You missed just hangers. All you missed.
Damn it, hanger.
You had 9. Megan had 8. Austin had 6. I had thanks for playing 5. For what it's worth, I was 33 seconds off on the tiebreaker time if it would have come to that. But congratulations, Jamie, for retaining the title. You do get to hold on to it again for another month.
That's 3 consecutive pay-per-views. I won it in 2 successive title defenses, ladies and gentlemen. So as your champion, I will promise you that I will still continually beat the shit out of JJ. Because for your FWO for life. Now, Austin, on the other hand, he can possibly win it. I'll allow it to get there, but can never go to the J Money Club. Never. This is my baby. This is the Triple T.
I am the Ruby Soho of this dais. That is correct. So
hi, Ruby.
Fuck, I missed that too. Shit. All right, guys. Give me some thought. I'm gonna start with, since you were gone last week, Austin. I'm gonna start with you. What are your thoughts? What'd you like? What didn't you like? Couple things about WrestleDream.
I enjoyed pretty much the entire pay-per-view. I thought match quality wise, most of that show was phenomenal. The one thing I really did not care for is what we just mentioned during the rundown was MJF beating the Righteous 2-on-1 and just beating them. Like just
clean.
What a handicap match.
Beat up, but yeah.
Like we'll get into it tonight. He did get dropped by something, but I don't see the attraction of MJF gets to be the scumbag and still kind of act like a heel, but also just win all the time and just beat everybody. I thought this was a good chance to give the Righteous a little bit of shine. MJF loses nothing by losing. It's a handicap match. The Ring of Honor tag titles will be an afterthought as long as they're on MJF and Adam Cole.
Oh, they're still getting featured in the foreseeable future.
They're getting in a premier storyline, but they're not a focal point. And you could have a good tag division in Ring of Honor. You've got plenty of people. So I thought that was, I didn't pick them thinking they were gonna win. I picked them more of a, please, Tony, please just give the Righteous these titles. Because I also just think the Righteous in general are super fun to watch. Like the gimmick's awesome, the work's there. Mm-hmm. It would have been a nice point to take them off. That aside, like I said, the entire show was great. I thought Statlander and Julia Hart could have been a Rampage match or something. It was fine, but it kind of it almost looks worse in comparison because the rest of the show was so good. When the match they had, like I said, it wasn't bad. It was perfectly fine. But just overshadowed by so much else. But that tag match was absolutely phenomenal. I loved Kingston and Shibata. Claudio and Barnett on the pre-show. It's not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to wrestling, but they just basically had a blood sport match on AEW pay-per-view. Well, pre-show, but still. Yeah, talked about it was great. Swerve and Hangman was a phenomenal match. Mm-hmm. And we got Christian in the main event being the greatest possible act on AEW TV right now. It was
true.
Once again, as I say after pretty much every pay-per-view, more than happy to have spent the $50 I did on this show. It was a great Sunday night of pro wrestling.
Most definitely. All right, Jamie, you go.
All right. I will have to
I'm going to, Heather. Don't worry about that. I've reserved that for myself. Absolutely.
Yeah. So this show was, I didn't get to watch it live. I watched it after the Chiefs were on. Sorry, my allegiance goes there first, ladies and gentlemen. But this was a solid show. I mean, first off and foremost, match of the year contender, without a shadow of a doubt, and Sabre Jr. and Danielson. Like, that match, I had high expectations, and I can honestly tell you, it exceeded my expectations. As a technical wrestling mark, this hit every single thing I wanted and then some. I want it again. And they're already teasing like it's going to happen again, yep. Which, yes. And literally it was a wrestle wet dream. Like that's what that match was, you know, like it was perfect on that aspect. And then the fact that, you know, Adam Copeland made his debut and he makes his debut, interferes with our father figure and Christian Cage, and so the concerto doesn't happen. That was great. Plus, who called Nick Wayne?
I believe it'd be this guy over here.
It would be that guy.
That guy called that.
Saw that coming a mile away, and it was one of those fun opportunities where the thing you think is coming is like the best thing they could do anyway. So it's not one of those like, oh, that was just telegraphed. It seemed like, and that's why I was surprised, JJ, that you picked Darby in the main, because I thought Nick Wayne costing him the title you might as well have flown a plane hanging one of those banners over the arena, been like, this is happening tonight.
Yeah.
I'll get to it. I'll get to it when it's my turn.
Well, and plus, like, right before, Tony's like, oh, this is going to be huge. It's going to be one of the biggest things ever. I'm like, oh, so here comes Adam Copeland, Edge. Here he comes. So that means this is probably going to happen, and I could see them making him a face going up against the number one heel in the company right now, and that is none other than Christian Cage.
Yeah, it seemed pretty likely that Edge was showing up or Adam Copeland was showing up. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as they announced that Darby and Christian was the main event,
it's like, here's your sign.
But it's great because, like, it gets even more hype because you know it's coming. And it's we're still going to pop. It's still going to be awesome to see him show up. Yeah. But yeah, once that was the main event, it was pretty obvious how it was going to fold out. Now, I didn't see them tearing the ring apart. Like, I watched it live. I didn't see that coming. Like,
yeah, that was cool.
How hard they were going to go into destroying Darby.
I mean, he murdered Darby. Murdered him. Like, Darby died and somehow came back to life midway through that match.
John Rule came out and goes, "It's murder."
I do gotta really quickly though, and I know I said it 2 weeks ago. One of the reoccurring themes or tropes that AEW uses that I am getting a little tired of is the refs stopping a guy from fighting the other guy while the match is going on.
Yeah.
So Christian gives Darby the frog splash off the top onto the stretcher, which was a cool spot. Cool. And you hear Bryce Remsburg just look at him and go, "What is wrong with you? What's wrong with Christian? Bryce, you're the dude that hasn't called for the bell and stopped the match yet.
I mean,
this is still happening."
That's obvious disqualification, right?
Like, how are you going to load up a dude on a stretcher, but like, oh, match is still going though. Like, it's not over yet. We're going to take him to the hospital, get him checked out. Fans, sit on your hands for a good 2 hours. If they clear him, we'll finish this match. Like, small aside, because the frog splash to the stretcher off top was dope anyway. Yeah. The entire match I enjoyed. But yeah, it's one of those small things, and they do it so often where the refs will like push someone back. If you've got to stop and check on the guy, the match should probably be over if he's in that much peril.
I hear you. It doesn't bother me personally, but I definitely understand where you're coming from there.
It's one of those things that like it's more I laugh about than get annoyed with, but I can't not point it out when it's that egregious. It was Bryce yelling at Christian, "What is wrong with you?" That really sent it for me. Like, my brother in Christ, you are the official out here. You could have stopped this match.
You have the power of Grayskull.
All right, so here's my thoughts. Okay, so first of all, FTR, Aussie Open. FTR, like, I don't know how many times Jamie has said this. FTR doesn't have bad matches.
They don't.
They just don't. And Aussie Open is amazing. Now, Mark Davis, he got injured. I don't know what that injury is. Hopefully it's not something. I mean, that man, geez, for such a big, beefy dude, he's got some glass bones in him, it feels like.
He's like the Butcher.
Right. Yeah. But that was amazing. Swerve Hangman was just as good as I thought it was going to be, which is fantastic. Swerve, I loved seeing Swerve in his hometown too. Was great, because he gets a good pop. The 6-man was fun, with the Donkhouse family. It's always fun to see Will Ospreay on, in front of my eyes. So I love that. I'm with you, Austin, on the TBS title match. It's a fine match to have. It's good that Julia gets a little push. If you had another women's match on the card, it would have been better, because this felt like something that you'd have on the pre-show, right? And then you had another women's match on the main show, and that's just the minimum requirement, but whatever. Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., like I said, look, technical wrestling isn't my favorite part of wrestling, but I do thoroughly enjoy when it's good. And man, was this good. This was so good. And I love the vicious Bryan Danielson. Speaking of which, Jon Moxley needs to be a full-time commentator if he gets one more concussion. Okay? If he gets one more concussion, boom, we're going to rule him out. Commentator. The man was amazing. He was on pre-show, instantly started cussing up a storm, and then came back later on, said he got fined for his cussing and kept cussing, and it was just gloriousness the whole time. Every time he was on the mic, they had paired up because they do the whole switcheroo of announcers, which I love that aspect. You get a little Nigel, a little JR, a little Taz. You mix them in there. It's good. He was always with JR every time he was on there, and it was just. I mean, I could just listen to that.
Going out of his way to be the anti-JR. Like
100%.
JR loved every second of it too.
He was the voice on the commentary booth that was enjoying the show while it was happening, because JR just gets like JR is. My absolute favorite Mox commentary line of the entire night was during the Claudio Barnett match. When Claudio put Barnett in some kind of octopus hold, and JR goes, well, we might see a submission right here. And Mox just goes, if he taps out to this, I'll poop my pants. Yeah, Mox on commentary is a treasure.
God bless you, Mox. Christian Cage, Darby Allin. Like, it started off, like we talked about, just murder. It was like that second stair spot was like legit. And we've had a few times where we thought maybe Darby really did get hardcore messed up. This was one of them. I'm like, I don't think that's kayfabe. I think he's legit fucked up his spine.
Oh, that's stair spot.
It was, and his head was not in a good spot it was bad. But as the match went along, it was fine. I love the viciousness of it because it was such a good juxtaposition to have. Because it was going to be a typical Darby Allin match in the beat up Darby for 90% of the match, So how do you make that interesting? And you just enter a new level of violence for Christian, which give me that. Like, the heat this man is getting is phenomenal. The whole Nick Wayne aspect, even though, yes, you saw it coming from a mile away. Jamie predicted it weeks ago. It still was fantastic. His mom at the ringside. The turn was done very well. I mean, it would have been, the only thing that would have made it better is if his mom would have just been like slow clapping after he turned, like she was in on it the whole time. That's the only thing that would have been better. But I digress. And Edge, Adam Copeland in AEW. So I thought it was good.
So Heather did bring I died too. So when they showed these kids,
on the pre-show,
the pre-show, and then they cut to freaking.
Did you hear the post-show media scrum with Christian?
What?
You heard it, didn't you, Austin? Did you hear this?
What was your impression the first time you saw Nick Wayne wrestle? I've never seen him wrestle.
Yeah, that was funny. But no, he was up there, and the first question was something about because he was there with Tony Khan, right? And somebody was asking a question to Tony about Inoki, this and that. And his kids were wonderful; they were fantastic. Blah blah blah. And Chris just goes, "His grandfather's dead."
Okay, I did see that too.
So here's I know somebody usually gives us a stash of knowledge. We'll get that in just a second. But here's a little tidbit of knowledge that some of you may or may not know. But Adam Copeland, obviously great friends with Christian Cage in real life.
Right.
And they've been like since they're little kids, right? Well, it's been notoriously well known that Adam Copeland was raised by a single mother. And he used to go over and go on vacations and stuff with Christian. I wonder if they're going to play into that.
We shall see. Well, we're going to get to Dynamite in just a minute. Before we do, I don't even know what this is, but it is now the 10th month of the year, which is October. Spooky season if you're on TikTok, I guess. I don't even know where that came from. I low-key hate it, but I love saying it because so many people hate it as well. So it's like I can get past my hate of it just to annoy others. Jamie's rubbed off on me more than I want to care to imagine. But not to this point about this, because it is spooky season. It is the magical time of Halloween on our doorstep, and Jamie being our resident horror movie super fan, we like to do some Halloween spooky evil horror movie type things in. I have no idea what this is, but we have some sort of Halloween type spooky, scary segment. Jamie, whatever it is, let's go. Let's do it.
Well, first off, welcome to October. Welcome to All Hallows Eve month. And we are going to be talking about the greatness that is scary movies, ladies and gentlemen. Horror movies, not horror movies, but horror movies. Horror movies are completely different. You can usually get those on the internet.
I can give you more references on those. That's
I'm sure there's a crossover out there somewhere.
I have some websites I can refer you to, Austin. Don't worry about it.
So I thought it would be fun. We did this last year, and I want to continue the tradition. And now we have Austin here, and we're live, so people can also chime in as well. And I really want some participation on this one. So I want us to every week come up with a movie on the fly that we really like. Maybe it's not mainstream, preferably not mainstream. That it's like, hey, this is a good scary movie. I really enjoy this movie. Like, and it could be campy, it could be hokey, it could be funny, scary, like a Scary Movie type movie, or Scary Movie 2, which is my personal favorite out of the entire catalog of scary movies. But no, like I thought it would be a great opportunity every week getting down to Halloween. And then I'm hoping, gentlemen, putting you on the spot, we could dress up for our Halloween extravaganza.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because November 1st is the first Wednesday, so we'd have to do it October 25th.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, because it's like we almost were one day off from getting Halloween on our go live night. But okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, so let's do it. We'll dress up.
I will start. We'll start with a good obscure movie. You can currently get it on Shudder. And this is one of my favorites. It is incredibly creepy in all the right ways. Some jump scares, but it's definitely more of a psychological, like, mind F than anything. And this is The Dark and the Wicked. One of my favorites. This is about a guy who's dying. His kids come home to see him, and there's some demonic things about, and they're basically trying to convince these people to unalive themselves, if you will. It's dark, dude. It's really, really good. I enjoy the hell out of it, just because it's just so bleak. Like, I love a bleak horror movie. I like it when the bad guys win. I'm not saying the bad guy wins in this one or not, but I'm just saying, like, you get that vibe pretty much 90%. It's like a Darby Allin match.
A Darby Allin match in motion picture format.
Yes. So that's my pick for week 1.
Austin, you have to go next because JJ is scrambling to think of a movie.
Oh, I'll buy you some time because I am not much of a horror movie person. There's a few I like, but there are quite a few just really dumb comedies that are a bit of a satire of the horror genre that I enjoy. So for week 1, I'm going to go with my all-time favorite Halloween season movie. And actually, one me and Miss Heidi Howitzer watch pretty much every Halloween. And that is going to be Idle Hands.
Oh, I love that movie. That's so low-key great.
Late 90s, somewhere in that era. It's Devin Sawa, and he is a lazy-ass stoner, and the devil possesses one of his hands to do evil and murder people. And him and his stoner buddies have to, like, save the day. And they cut off his hand, and it flies around still murdering people, so they got to go, like, stop it from killing this small town. It's one of my all-time favorites. I guess you could kind of call it a horror movie, but whatever in that genre. And just to buy JJ a little extra time here.
I'm good. I got it.
I'm going to throw out an honorable mention. If you do not like really bad movies, do not waste your time watching this. Probably my all-time favorite bad movie is Ginger Dead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver, where an evil gingerbread man time travels to a disco in the 70s and starts murdering people. It is extremely low budget. It is poorly written and poorly acted, but I enjoyed the shit out of it.
The entire premise makes me want to watch it, and I'm not a horror movie fan.
It's It's so bad, it's wonderful.
That's like a movie I always talk about, and Jamie hates I talk about, but a Trauma movie called Ferocious Female Freedom Fighters. It's horrendous, but it's hilarious in my eyes. So,
speaking of trauma, hold on. Speaking of trauma, did you hear that? Yeah, Toxic Avengers coming out. But before you get to yours, I do want to call out any Barbara Crampton movie is S tier for me. So Heather with Chopping Mall with the Killbots. Let's go. Big fan. Great call out.
Now, if you've been following us for past few years, apologies, because I might pull out movies that I've previously said, because once again, I am not a deep horror movie lover. It turns out that a lot of movies that I like are actually technically horror, classified under it. So there are more. And I found this out last year. Jamie did a knowledge on me, and I learned some stuff about it. So I may have said this one last year, but I don't care because I'm on the spot and I'm pulling it out. And this is actually one of my favorite movies. Is the first. No, it's not the first time. Boondock Saints has been the first time that I saw Norman Reedus, but this is the first. This is next time that I saw him pre-Walking Dead. It's a fantastic space travel horror movie of sorts, Pandorum.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Blade 2.
Oh, he was in Blade 2. Shit, I can always forget that. Blade 2 is pretty
Pandorum's great. Pandorum's awesome.
Pandorum had a great twist in it. It was
it wants to be Event Horizon so bad though.
it tried to be Event Horizon, but I'm glad it had a lot of Event Horizon-esque parts to it, but I felt like the suspense vibes they pulled, I thought were good, the way they played off of it, but it was a different story, and the twist was good at the end. I thoroughly enjoyed Pandorum, and nice little suspenseful, spooky movie, had a great plot to it. That's my pick, because I can't just call, it's easy for me, and I'm trying to branch out a little bit, because generally speaking, everything I would say for the next month would be something zombie related, because that's the one part of horror that I do love, zombie movies, right?
Yeah. You're kind of an easy pick there. So maybe maybe
I'm not picking a single zombie movie this month. I'm not picking a single zombie movie this month, Jamie, for this whole thing, because I'm not going to do the low hanging fruit of Train to Busan. I'm not going to pull any Resident Evil. I'm not going anywhere. Not going.
What about Peninsula?
I still haven't seen Peninsula.
Oh, it's good. It's not as good as
Train to Busan. It's not as good,
so
but it's just I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet.
Sweet Tooth. Oh, dude, that's fucking great. Sorry. I'm just, yeah, this is my time of year. I watch scary stuff all year round. And yeah, dude, like every night I'm watching stuff. So after you guys, even though I have to get up at 5 a.m., I'm still committed to the bit. And I'm watching a movie. I'm watching a short one tonight. I'm only going to watch an 88-minute movie. So I'm watching Nightbreed. So, yeah. I love Nightbreed.
All right, so now that we know what the theme is, at least now Austin and I can come a little prepared next week.
No, I wanted this. I really wanted you have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
Now, just to establish the baseline, are we considering like all vampire movies of any sort or horror movies? Are those going to count?
Other than the obvious of ones that sparkle. They sparkle. They don't count.
That a vampire movie? I just blocked that from my memory. Like Twilight doesn't exist.
Yeah, but like if you want to do like Fright Night, anything like that, absolutely, I'm in.
Right on. I wasn't sure because like sometimes with the vampire genre, kind of with the zombie genre as well,
it's
lot of them
its own genre, right?
Action movies, like.
Right.
It's basically action with a little bit of a horror element, but that's more my speed. Like that's normally the kind of thing. So most vampire movies I'm down for.
And that's where I get a little gray line on stuff, because I'm not into horror movies. I don't care about blood and guts, all that, but I like the suspense movies, So things like The Descent, right? I didn't consider that a horror movie when I was watching it, but it is a horror movie, technically, But to me, it was just a suspense thriller, right?
Yeah. So I think next week I might bring up like a HP Lovecraftian style one, because those are always great. Honestly, what gave me a lot of inspiration to bring that one up, Heather on this show, ladies and gentlemen, she has her own show that she has on YouTube where she reviews some books. She's actually done some HP Lovecraftian style books in the past. I've watched a few of them. They're pretty good. So give her a like and a subscribe as well. But yeah, no, like she has some good stuff there. So I might pull one deep out of that bucket, because there's some good ones in there.
Heather pulled in one of your favorites about in chat as well here just now.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
It's Audrey's favorite scary movie.
Have you seen the video game?
Oh, it's coming. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's coming out.
Yeah. I've been playing Lies of P.
I assumed you would be playing Liza P. How do you like it?
It is really good.
I've been watching a little bit of it, and I could get it free on Game Pass. I think I'm gonna download it this weekend. I probably won't get around to playing it yet, but I'm gonna pre-download it.
I mean, it's Souls Pinocchio.
It's Bloodborne 2.
Like, yeah, basically,
it's
Bloodborne
really
Pinocchio.
what it is.
It's Souls. Yeah, it's a Souls game.
You been playing any Liza P there, Austin? Or you still you still?
No, I didn't actually know it existed until this conversation started like 15 fiscal seconds ago. But it sounds dope, so I might have to look into it.
It's pretty cool.
I was on Baldur's Gate 3 for a long time, and I have just recently been busy and have not got around to doing much gaming, but I'm going to have to check something out.
Yeah. I just started.
Liza P is choice. It's Bloodborne meets Pinocchio. Like, you are Pinocchio, essentially. And like, so you're a puppet. And like, you live in a world where there's other crazy puppets and real people and like Geppetto and all that good stuff.
The gameplay is a lot similar to Liza P. It's also got some like early DS1 influence. You could definitely tell the developers were making we're big fans of the FromSoft stuff. And since they're not making a Bloodborne 2, they're like, well, fuck it, we're making our own, right? Is what it felt like, but it's done really well. It's, for the most part. I actually just got into, because I'm almost done with Zelda. I've only got like 40 Koroks left. Thank God. Yeah, it's a lot. But no, I started playing Ender Lilies finally. It's a Metroidvania. It's a Twitch streamer I follow, and I've been pestering the living piss out of it for them to start to play Ender Lilies, because I know that they'll really like it, even though they claim not to like it. It's very Hollow Knight. It's very Hollow Knighty, right? So finally, she's like doing like a streamer appreciation thing this weekend, and she's like, I'm gonna play Ender Lilies. I go, fantastic. Oh shit, I need to get ahead of her because she will definitely ask me questions the entire stream. So start playing it. It's really good. If you like Metroidvanias, Ender Lilies is half off on Steam right now. All right. I got Starfield downloaded, Rob. I was planning on playing it at launch. I'm not going to start it till I finish Zelda, because I'm like, I'm not starting one game where I'm going to give hundreds of hours until I finish the one that I've already donated a couple hundred hours into. So long form game at a time. What?
I'll never play Starfield.
Have you even watched any play of it? Gameplay?
Oh yeah, I watched it. It looks like Fallout. I don't care. I'm not a Fallout guy.
Fallout in space. Okay, to each his own. I mean, everybody's got their own thing. I mean, Austin, you get done playing Baldur's Gate 3, and that's a game that I'll never play.
And that's the only reason why I haven't started Starfield yet, is I still have a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 left.
There's a lot.
And like, I don't want to jump into a new game without finishing that, because it's been so good.
Right.
I historically, though, almost never finish games. Like, Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor are like the only two games I've actually completed in probably the last decade.
They're so good. Those two games, I love them. Oh,
I love
so good.
Fallen Order, for some reason, I didn't really get into Fallen Order too much, but I love the story in Survivor. I don't know why that is. But
Fallen Order, the first one, was a banger. The second one, storyline-wise, was not as good as the first one, if you ask me, but like what you could do was way better. Like, you know what I mean?
I like the story in the second one better. I don't know why.
Well, the story in the second one was still good, but the story in the first one, which a lot of times, just like the first one's always have a little bit better story.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, both those games were phenomenal. Some of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you're playing long form games, because those long hour games, like I said, I'm not starting Starfield until I'm done with Zelda, because I'm like you. If I start Starfield, then I'll never finish Zelda. And I put way too many hours not to be done with that damn thing. All right, let's talk about wrestling. Let's get back to that. How about?
Yeah, let's talk about Dynamite, guys. That just happened.
There was a Dynamite that just happened, as a matter of fact. How about that?
And at first I was not excited about it. Not even gonna lie. I was like, it's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be fine.
Okay.
And then it happened. And then my opinion drastically changed. This was a great show, top to bottom. The end was great. I'm glad it ran long. But let's just go right down the line because there's a lot of good stuff that we need to talk about.
4-year anniversary, by the way, of Dynamite.
4 years. 4. All right, so we started off with the International Championship match against two arguably tag team specialists, Ray Phoenix going up against Nick Jackson. We knew how this was going to end, honestly, at least I did. I already knew. But this match was highly entertaining.
My match of the night. My match of the night by far. Not by far, but definitely my match of the night.
Yeah, this match was flames. Start to finish. I think they did a phenomenal job building up Ray Phoenix even more. Because again, like, you weren't really expecting a title change, but it's one of the Bucks, so you never know. Like, you give Nick Jackson an international title run for a couple weeks and have someone else. Like, it could happen. We're still kind of playing with house money here because we know Phoenix wasn't supposed to win the title. So that kind of added to it. You could see him drop it at any time. But they did such a good job of making Ray Phoenix look like a true unbeatable babyface. The stuff he was kicking out of towards the end was they were getting you with the falsies. Because again, in the back of your mind, you know, anytime a Buck's in there, they could win. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. Just like they're believably could beat anybody on the roster. The spot where Phoenix moved on the apron and Nick Jackson super kicked the post, and then Phoenix kicked his foot out from under him. He took that spike bump. Was one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time.
That's right on the top of his head. It was fantastic.
Yeah, this match was, and I love when they kick off Dynamite with just a really good pro wrestling match, which is more often than not, but still love it every time they do it.
I mean, but any combination you get, Bucks Lucha Bros, it's always. I don't know how many times I've said how much I just want to see that all the time, right? One of my favorite matches we ever saw live was the Bucks and Young Bros in a cage at All Out in 21. And you knew they were going to bring it. Here's something interesting. I didn't realize that Ray Phoenix is the second only ever Triple Crown winner in AEW.
I heard them mention that, and that was surprising.
Yeah, but then you think about it, you're like, he's right. Kenny Omega, Ray Phoenix, the only people to own a singles title, a tag title, and a trios title.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I was like, wait, what? Like when I think of Grand Slam,
I mean, you think a Triple Crown, right? Yeah, so they've had. Yeah,
I think as long as you're not counting the ROH titles, which made that a little bit more confusing because that muddies some things. Because I think Hangers had the main title, the tag titles, and now the ROH 6-man. So I guess it's only the AEW titles, but still,
there's a slight bit of continuity there. At least they have.
Yeah.
Modicum.
What a great word.
It is, right?
So let's move on to right after that because we had our first of many Roddy vignettes, and we're gonna talk like this. So
all right, so this is where the first one's gonna be.
Like I couldn't understand a damn thing they were saying.
I can't believe, and I'm so happy they replayed the whole thing later on.
Yes. So the only thing is, if I could be just a Debbie Downer for a second.
Okay, what you got?
Roddy is in a wheelchair and not a goddamn rascal.
Yep. And he gives an almost rascal to Adam Cole, though.
He does. He gives him the little scooter thing, which is great.
I just love Roddy being right back in the wheelchair like he didn't just wrestle Samoa Joe 3 weeks ago.
And still, like, it is...
And wear a devil mask.
So
just saying.
This segment was kind of interesting to me because there was some speculation last week that Adam Cole's injury may be a work.
Right.
And
By
at first,
this guy
it
over
seemed like they showed the X-rays and all that stuff, and it seemed like just people jumping the gun a little bit. But the fact that the whole premise was that Adam Cole put off his surgery to go to this emergency Roddy had, now I'm on board with those people thinking that the ankle injury is a work, and that's what we're building towards. That part turned me on it.
I don't know if it is a work. If it's a work, it's gone deep cut. So they've got like
everything's a work.
I mean, this is one of the best works if it is, but everything is a work usually. But I mean, they got they have Britt Baker tweeting out about how the love of her life and all this and X-ray pictures. Adam Cole's like moderators on his Twitch channel, giving an update for the Twitch streaming schedule to accommodate his surgery and rehab. They've gone deep cuts if this is a work. And if it is, I love that. So, because that's some deep, you're thinking like deep, where you get the girlfriend and the other job involved. That's deep.
Well, you got to think about it nowadays. Like nowadays, social media, everything out there, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's really hard, to not keep kayfabe, like this is that moment. I think this is the new evolution of it, because who else that we know of that he's a tag team partner that always keeps kayfabe? MJF, always.
True.
Online, everywhere. He's always his persona,
he's always
right?
MJF, right?
So why not keep this work and do the work this way too? Like it makes so much sense because you're able to tap these people so easily nowadays. Like with Twitch or OnlyFans for some of them. But you know what I'm saying? Like you have this ways to get them, and tap them. Like why not work into it? Like it's the new day and age. Like if they're able to do that brings in a completely new era of wrestling. And I'm 100% here for it because like this could be a thing.
I like Big Rob, our friend Big Rob in chat. He said the same thing too. By the way, go check out I-70 Hot Take, a podcast friends of ours here in Kansas City. They do a lot of live interviews. So I think they do a lot of live interviews through Facebook as well, Twitch stuff. Go check out I-70 Hot Take. Well, with your time.
Well, Big Rob does. Are you still doing the Italian AEW review? I remember he used to do that. Big Rob.
But he makes a good point there that he feels like maybe he is hurt, but it's not as serious. So that feels like it lines up if it's a work.
I think if it is a work, which now I'm kind of convinced of, just because like obviously Roddy didn't have a real emergency because it's pro wrestling and that was a segment. The whole thing about Adam Cole putting off his surgery.
I mean, that's
that's the kind of thing that's hard to reconcile with this being legit. Like, yeah, you want to go get that surgery ASAP so you can start his recovery. But even if it is a work, it's a very well done work. They're not mailing any part of it in.
No.
So yeah, it's great, and if you're really gonna turn Adam Cole into a true heel and turn on MJF and all that, then this should all be bullshit. And work or not, I'm interested to see where it goes. So it's good business either way. But I could see if this was a work, I could totally see them planning him just jumping off the ramp for that run in, selling his ankle, be like, that's how we're gonna start it.
Right.
Because that's what I think too. He barely broke his ankle in 3 places, but he was still moving around a bit and all right after that.
Yeah.
Probably work, but a good one. So I'm here for it.
We'll see how the next few weeks transpire here. One thing I was not expecting was because I never had a problem with this man's in-ring ability. I hated his gimmick for years. But I'm coming around on the Matt Taven train because he has the creepy uncle thing going on with the giraffe doing the whole petting the stuffed giraffe, and it was so weird and obtuse of a reference that I'm just like, it was like that commercial that what was it, opulence, I has it, and his little baby giraffe. I love it. I wasn't expecting that, but he's creepy in a way that just good.
I think my favorite part about the whole package was MJF asking Roddy, or not MJF, Adam Cole asking Roddy, "What's the emergency that you need me over here? I need you to move some furniture." What type of thing them doing? They don't have an eye for interior design.
So you come make a one-legged man move furniture around.
Oh, so good. So after this, you had what I like to call Heather's segment, because it is
and our friend Robin.
And our friend Robin, because she was
definitely our friend Robin.
Boy.
No disrespect,
Yeah.
Heather, but Robin's got you beat on this, I think.
Yeah. So it was Griff Garrison, a returning Griff Garrison. I haven't seen this guy in years.
He's been on ROH a lot. He's been doing a lot of ROH stuff, so
which is great for him. Going up against the War Daddy himself. That's right, Wardlow. Yes. He came back and he was super pissed off, and they totally did the big monster thing with him again. So he's again going to be booked into a corner of being just a monster.
I have a modicum of hope here, because he did the slams to the point where they just called the match, and then he just immediately just jumped out of the rings, hopped over the thing, and went through the crowd. So he's doing the monster, but he's doing it a little bit different. Is there a plan for that? Probably not. But it's different, so.
It reminded me, have you guys seen the movie, was it Warrior, with Tom Hardy, when he's like
I'm familiar, I haven't seen it though.
Yeah, he's got to fight his brother because he was like a Marine guy who left because like his friends died. Yeah, like you remember how in that one he came in, beat the shit out of the dude, and just straight walked out. Same vibes.
Yep.
Same exact thing.
So
I think they're using that.
It's a little bit different than what Wardlow used to be. So there's that.
It was nice seeing Wardlow back. I just wish we would have gotten something a little bit more interesting out of him instead of. It was the same thing you saw with Wardlow before, basically leading up to him beating MJF, where he was just trucking through people. But now he's cooled off so much that like that super cool aspect to him's kind of gone. I would have liked if he was going to just come out and murder somebody. Have him murder somebody of a little bit more importance than Griff Garrison, or as Big Rob put in the chat, who the F is Griff Garrison? I'm glad to see him back. I would have liked to see him jump right into something.
Like have him jump like to Miro or something like that, right? Let's get some meat match going on.
We're getting to it as the show goes on. I would have liked to have seen Wardlow in the spot Hobbs was in later in the night.
We called for that weeks ago, but yeah.
We did.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We want to save that.
Yeah, we'll save it, but I think Wardlow being in a faction makes a little bit more sense for him now. If you're not going to really push him hard as a singles guy, which clearly I don't think they're going to do, because when he was at his hottest, they just kind of stopped having him on TV and doing important things.
I don't think they're going to do that, Christian. I think they're testing the waters here to see where he's at. Christian said that he wonders if they're going to push him up to Christian. Rob said he wonders if they're going to push him up to Christian. I don't think they will, because there's reasons we'll talk about why that's. First of all,
he doesn't have a father, though.
I would love to see put Wardlow with Christian, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus, and have Wardlow and Luchasaurus out there as a tag team.
That I would like to see.
Wardlow Luchasaurus would be a phenomenal tag team.
Wardlow, unfortunately, he got the big pop. He doesn't have that as much anymore, like you said, Jamie. He needs to be with somebody, right? And we talked about in the past, AEW Land of Factions, whatever, right? Wardlow needs to be with somebody.
Well, they've kind of tamed down on the factions, to be honest, though. If you notice, like, there's not as many.
They've got cleaner. The factions they have are much more, defined,
the Mogul Embassy.
Well, that's.
I mean, the only thing we got for the Mogul Embassy, is some sweet dancing.
That's a shirt now, by the way. Did you see that?
Yes, I kind of get it. All right. So let's just move on from this because there's a lot to still get through. Don Callis said Sammy Guevara is not medically cleared, so they have Sky Blue's boyfriend, Kyle Fletcher, coming in to replace him. The only reason I knew that is Twitter. Thanks, Twitter. And then they replay the Cole thing right there with audio this time, which is a very nice touch. Right after that, you had your tag team match, or sorry, trios match. You had the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian going up against the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. This one wasn't that long at all.
This was a match.
It was fan service because you got the Acclaimed to do the Acclaimed rap, got some scissoring, like everybody loves the Acclaimed. That's all there is to it. And of course they won. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything to this.
Nope.
Yeah, I love the Acclaimed, but I love them a little bit less every week. And I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I need something new and different out of them because it's just it's more of the same, and there's diminishing returns every time. It was fine, but let's get them in a feud. Let's do something a little bit more than just like, oh, here's the Acclaimed segment for the night. They're gonna rap to the ring, they're gonna scissor, and it's still fun. But like, yeah, it's started to overstay its welcome a little bit, and I'd like to see something different done with them.
Heather has a great idea with that. Of them being terrible and beating up MJF with his terrible friends.
I had a little bit of glimmer of hope for that tonight, and it got dashed. Well, I don't know if we want to wait to get to that.
We'll talk about segment. Let's talk because it's post segment. So
yeah, it was post segment, but you've got MJF laid out by Bullet Club, then you cut to him in the back with the massage therapist helping him out, and the Acclaim shows up. Max Caster starts massaging him instead, and they address the creepy tweets and stuff, which was kind of fun. But like, MJF, you just got your ass beat by 4 dudes, technically only one because only one guy hit him with a move. You're acknowledging to us that you can't do it alone and your partner's gone. Maybe the literal 3 guys that could even the odds that were just in the room with you that clearly like want to associate you in some way, maybe do something with them. Maybe it's like, all right, dude, y'all want a little bit of the MJF rub so much.
I mean,
how about this? Y'all team up with me.
It's a little obvious, juicing the Guns, going for the trio titles, right? I mean, it's a bit on the nose, but it'll happen. That's obvious.
It doesn't have to be a long thing, but I think that would have been a great way to give the Acclaimed and Dad Ass something a little bit more interesting to do, while Adam Cole is or is not, depending on what you believe, out with an ankle injury. I had some hope, and then they just kind of brushed it off. But maybe we'll get more later. I doubt it, but I wouldn't mind seeing even a 4-on-4 with those guys. But yeah, give me juice in the Guns against the Acclaimed and Dad Ass at least. Like, get them involved somehow in that.
Well, let's talk about since you started it, Jamie. You want to just go? We'll come back to Tony in a second here because you got a match we can kind of tie that into. You want to talk about the Bullet Club promo?
Yeah. So the Bullet Club comes out and
sans Jay White.
Sans Jay White because he got attacked.
Yep.
Which
and Cardblade. Cardblade wasn't there tonight.
There was no Cardblade. That's a little sad. But okay. So Ass Boys and the Talentless Taint, as MJF called them, as he got called out by them. He walks down. They clear out of the ring, which I did not get because it's just one dude, and then they just started. Then here comes Jay White. It's the Blade Runner. But there's going to be a match between MJF and Jay White at Full Gear. So that's done in the books, ready to rock. Now, I personally feel like there's going to be multiple levels to this.
Okay.
All right. So,
oh god.
First off, I gotta be ready. Okay.
Ready for that bounce.
All right. So, gotta have my jiggle going on. With my jiggle. All right. So, I apologize for the coughing. I have allergies. This is what's going on. Jay White is not gonna make it to this match.
Okay.
Because the devil is going to interfere. The devil is also going to get a Ring of Honor championship, tag team championship match for people. But it's not the devil. Because they're going to work out a way to get the Kingdom going up against MJF. MJF will lose the titles to them. Because the actual devil, Adam Cole, is pulling the strings, and you'll get Adam Cole versus MJF. And new champion, Adam Cole.
At Full Gear.
At Full Gear.
Okay.
Because it's work. Because it's a work.
That all lines up. I mean...
My big butt cheeks.
It feels like that all makes good sense. The only thing about it that gets me is I feel like it's a wasted motion with Jay White. Now, that doesn't mean you can't pull Jay White versus Adam Cole. I mean, Jay White did kind of send Adam Cole to the shelf for 9 months. So, but you're putting Jay White up into that, main event picture finally. That's the only part that it doesn't even rub me wrong. It's just kind of like, that's a kind of crummy short-term side effect.
But which would you rather see? Would you rather see Jay White versus MJF or Jay White versus Adam Cole?
I'd rather see Jay White versus Adam Cole at like All In, right?
I agree with parts of what you're laying out. I think it might be like almost overbooking it a little too much. I think we do get Jay White and Adam Cole or Jay White and MJF at Full Gear. And even though we won't do official predictions for 6 weeks until we get there, I'm locking in right now. I'm picking Jay White to take the title at Full Gear.
Oh.
It is time to take it off MJF. I think Adam Cole, dressed as the devil, shows up and costs MJF the match. And your booking reason is Adam Cole realized he wasn't going to beat MJF. He had 2 shots to get the title. He couldn't do it. So he's going to take it off and try and take the title off Jay White later. I think that's where this is going. I also just hope that's where this is going because I don't want to see MJF with the AEW title anymore. I don't think he needs it for what he's doing. And I think that lets you go into resolving MJF and Adam Cole without the title involved and circling back to it later. You're likely in the first part of 2024 getting Ospreay in. There's a lot of other things to do with the title that's not just kind of keeping in this feud that's interesting without it. So I think Jay White makes it to Full Gear to fight MJF for the title, and I think Adam Cole costs MJF the title at Full Gear.
I can see that too.
Maybe this is fancy booking for me, but hopefully now we get like with Ospreay. You got Adam Copeland here now. You've got all this other stuff going on, right? Multiple shows. October 7th, BR is be streaming through Max live and recorded sporting events. Matter of time before we get AEW on Max, right? I feel like it's a good time for them to move the belt around a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. Especially if you're putting it from one recognizable face to another, and then back, and this. And you can almost do this circle stuff, and you can throw in Kenny Omega every once in a while, But you got MJF, Adam Cole, Jay White, Will Ospreay, and if you want to bring in Adam Copeland eventually, cool. Play shuffle with the title on that.
Yeah,
maybe fantasy booking, but I'm totally for that.
I think just in general, the fact that AEW has nearly a dozen dudes that could credibly be the AEW champion and an interesting and believable champion is a really good thing. If you look over at the other company, there is a very small handful of guys they ever let come close to carrying their title. AEW, like, yeah, you could legitimately put that championship on like a dozen dudes on their roster and have interesting storylines and they'd be believable. So,
yeah.
And that's more of the reason why I want to see it taken off MJF. And especially because, like I was saying earlier, they don't seem to be okay with letting MJF lose. So I don't think he needs to be he doesn't need that world championship. He can still be doing all the same shit without it. But there's so many other dope matches for the title you could be having while he's still doing the same shit with Adam Cole and all that as well.
Well, and Rob makes a great point as well, because they got the Bidding War 2024 storyline that they're going to have to be playing out, right? That can run independent. He doesn't need a title to feud with a turncoat Adam Cole, right? That's its own marquee in and of itself. So, very interesting hypotheses, gentlemen. But Mark Stradamus has spoken. We shall see.
Mark Stradamus has a pretty good track record.
He does.
I do agree. I do see that MJF losing the ROH tag titles in a handicap match to the Kingdom happening between now and Full Gear for sure. That seems very likely.
I've been really thinking about who the devil is. So at first I was full on board that it was Roddy. I'm like,
I'll take Adam Cole.
I'm like, Roddy's shorter than the guy, but then you look at it again, and it's like, oh, that could be Adam Cole. Hell, it could be Swerve.
This is a good plot hole to have. I mean, this is fantastic.
I'm loving that we don't know.
Yeah, because generally these things pretty easy for Jamie to figure out, right? Oh, that's who this is.
Yeah, usually I'm pretty good about it.
So
I think the most likely scenario is that the devil is Adam Cole and this was the work.
100%. And if it is, I hope it is, because it's like this is the most long form, like I said, most long form and detailed work in a while. Going out to social media, multiple channels, right? That's deep cuts. I love this. Now, it's time we move on.
It is.
Do you guys have time, or are you timeless?
Timeless. Although, really quick, I got to point out, I just saw in chat, Big Rob asking, what if the devil is Kyle O'Reilly? Also would be great.
Yes, please. Give me.
Kyle
O'Reilly will be involved with
nowhere close. Yeah.
I don't think it is, just because, he's having injuries and stuff, but that would be phenomenal as well.
His injuries, like, he's making good progress last we heard, but it's not one of those that's anytime soon sort of.
You don't rush it.
No. So let's talk about, there was a portrait of a star that we had before this actual segment. Yes. And my God. First of all, the fact that they had RJ City in there doing it, which if you have it, there was a clip circulating today on Twitter. If you haven't checked it out, it's one of those, if wrestling is fake, explain this type of clips, And it was a match that RJ City had a while ago, back when he was still wrestling, against Elmo. Taking a Canadian destroyer from a guy in a giant Elmo costume. RJ City.
And a rock bottom that was really fucking good too.
RJ City is hilarious anyway. He deserves more kudos than he gets. I love RJ City.
Me too. He's got great shirts too. So we had the debuting, ladies and gentlemen, timeless Toni Storm going up against Sky Blue.
Yeah, we're jumping around a little bit. That's okay.
It's okay, because we want to say this tag team match. I like the simplicity of Toni's look. She just had basically a black wrestling outfit. Like that's it. Like nothing, no frills, no leather, no
something
nothing.
A woman would have worn in the time of, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, and I loved how like her makeup was runny and
Did
she had the
you?
smear. Oh, dude, I loved it. Like it just shows that she's losing grasp of reality.
It does. It felt a little Chelsea Green from Impact Wrestling, though.
But different because she feels like she is Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. I'm with you.
I don't
Chelsea was
feel
just
like you would
crazy.
have caught Marilyn Monroe with some sloppy ass makeup though.
I mean, I don't know. Did you watch her movie on Netflix?
I did not. I did not.
Yeah,
that's a dig at her personal life because it was a.
Ooh, yeah. They really hit below the belt on her.
Unfortunately,
hard.
it wasn't like it was an untrue hitting either.
No. But anyway, like I liked it. Obviously, she's gonna win. Sky Blue did okay again. She's not the best. Norma Desmond, I like the call there. But yeah,
but she's getting good experience at least. Right?
She has to have the right opponent. We've talked about this like 1,000 times with her. I don't want to get into about Sky Blue anymore. She's just who she is. But I really enjoyed. I was kind of hoping there'd be a wardrobe change of some sort, some type of thing, But no, it was fine. Like that's how I feel about it.
I do like, and this is one thing that I appreciate about Toni, and one of the things that some of these women, Sky Blue, looking at you, looking at a few others of you on the roster here too, can take some note of. So the commitment, we have the thing. We have a T-shirt also, committed to the bit, right? And it's all about. And Austin, I want you to speak on this a little bit in just a second here too. But taking your character and not just doing it, but living it, like really getting in. This is your character. This is who you are for the 8 to 12 minutes, whatever it is that you are in front of the camera. You need to do that. Just a couple little highlights of that. Toni Storm introduces herself to the referee at the very beginning. Every time there's a near kick out, just all the gasps and this and that, right? She's getting ready to do her hip attack instead of just doing the hip attack or slapping her butt like she used to, which was cool for when she did it because it fit like her and Ruby doing it. Cool, right? She doesn't do it. She now, instead of slapping her butt, asks for her kudos from the crowd as she's turning around to get them, and then before does the Vogue pose, and everything is just like all the little micro, expressions that she puts out there fit this whole story of the timeless bit. That this was the only thing that we got for women, even though it was 2 segments. It was just one because it was 2. You could have done 2 matches, but I'm not even mad at it because you got a little bit more face time and you're developing a really good story that can live independent of a title picture or the feud with the old faction, which is such an easy low-hanging fruit. So that's what I loved about it. Austin, what do you say to that?
Yeah, the character work is phenomenal, and I kind of hope that this drives Toni away from anything with the former outcasts. We can just be done with that. Like, just on to new things. Timeless Toni Storm, who I kept wanting to call Time Lord Toni Storm for some reason.
Time Lord.
Better. It was great. That's character work, and that's the part of pro wrestling people really connect to.
Yeah.
And to see someone like Toni Storm, who is she was AEW Women's Champion not all that long ago. She is widely regarded as a phenomenal in-ring competitor, which she is. Still realizing, hey, I should change things up and do something new and exciting, and then going this hard into the bit and making it genuinely entertaining. That's what you're here for. That's pro wrestling. And then to juxtapose that, to use another great word like vodka, with the other side of this match, someone I am 100% completely tapped out on in Sky Blue. There is no character. I still don't know what a Sky Blue is. Your name is Sky Blue and you wear blue. I get that much. There is literally nothing else to enjoy or appreciate.
Well,
she has a big butt, which people
okay.
like. I do as
like,
well. Not her specifically, but big butts in general. Everyone loves a big butt.
he cannot lie.
But there's nothing else there. And there's one of my biggest pet peeves with women wrestling is leaning on having a nice butt or just being hot and adding nothing else. Because Toni Storm has a all-time great rear end in the terms of pro wrestling, but is also doing some of the best character work in the company right now because that's more important. And I just watching this entire match, all I could think of was, why is Sky Blue out there and not the Bunny, Penelope Ford, Riho? Just going down the list of more interesting characters that you have. Why is Sky Blue getting this opportunity? And honestly, wrestling Toni Storm a little too competitively for someone that was recently your champion and is just one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. I know we were just saying we don't want to rehash the Sky Blue thing. I'm just done with Sky Blue. Like, create a character and then come back to us, because like I don't know what you bring to the show anymore.
Yeah.
Might be a little harsh, but like,
you're not harsh.
You're on TV regularly now. You're on Dynamite and Collision regularly now. Pick a character and be it, and it'll work. And Toni Storm is an example of that.
I mean, Toni Storm, she has Joshi training, right? She spent a lot of time in Japan. I think that plays a lot into this. Sky Blue is young. He's only been around some indie stuff and been here, right? And it's very obvious because in order to get the crowd amped up, Toni digs into her bit and digs deeper into the bit, right? And it works. What does Sky Blue do? She pulls a move and then it's the big yell, right? It's the typical, like, I hate to put it this way, but a lot of times, especially female wrestlers, but generally wrestlers in general, you know, men do this as well too. You make a big move and then do a yell, because that's going to get the crowd up, right? Right. And that's what, yeah, exactly. It's Braun Strowman. but she does it too. She'll do a move and go, ah! And it's just like, you have no depth, you know?
Yes.
And I think, go ahead.
I was to say, in the honor of our soliloquy on the women here, I would say they need a lot of help when it comes to character development for the women. Like, I agree. I cannot say anything much more, because, like, hey, you hit the nail on the head. Like, you could be more than just being pretty. So, perfect example, Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose, when she was on the main roster, was just pretty. Then she learned how to wrestle and went back to NXT and actually dominated. Look at Tiffany Stratton. That girl has every ability just to mail it in because she's gorgeous. She does the prettiest moonsault ever, and she can actually wrestle. You know, like, if you want to see girls who are just pretty and can't really wrestle, you watch WoW. You know, because they are legit actresses who are trying to wrestle and not wrestlers. You know, it's a different thing. Like, but Sky Blue, you're a wrestler, man. Like, become something. Like, you know, it's like Twisted Sister. You know, we're not gonna take it. You know, what are you gonna do with the rest of your life? You know, that kind of thing. Like, that's kind of the way I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Sky Blue is she's super young, and we're all already kind of getting just tired of seeing her on TV because there's nothing interesting there.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you don't have to have a gimmick. You need to have something. Yeah. Toni Storm, for most of her career, was just Toni Storm. She's a chick from Australia who likes punk rock, sort of, you know, does this and that, you know, is that, but she had charisma and effect, and she could talk, right, and all that. Either when she was in NXT UK or back in NXT, you know, this and that, and then here, it was either face Toni Storm or heel Toni Storm, but it's the same sort of Toni Storm. This is her first branch out into a, like, specific character type, you know, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to be a character to have good charisma. Look at Willow. Willow is genuine and authentic, and she's got the whole like it's like that. It's kind of like the that New Day vibe, right? The power positivity bit, going on there, But it's super over, and people love her for it. That is something, right? And, and then you look at other people. Ruby and Saraya, they have their own little thing. The former E-Girl spit, it worked. They got that, right? Even Sheeta, who speaks much better, but not great English. She's this like hardened, like Japanese, like competitor, right? That's what gets her. The competition and strive for perfection, right? It's a little bit on the nose for the Japanese bit, but she makes it work. People love her, right? It's something. And Sky Blue, you were just a young girl with a nice butt.
Yeah. And like hopefully over time she figures it out and develops like an actual gimmick. Because I don't think it's 100% on her. A lot of it is the booking with the women's division in general. It seems like they're really missing like solid mid-card baby faces that are like over and they've got interesting characters, but just aren't quite ready to make that leap to the top of the card yet. It's like you've got your top of the card talent, and then you've got a bunch of people that they don't really care about because they're just going to lose anyway. And we just need more out of Sky Blue. Like, again, develop a gimmick. It doesn't have to be super gimmicky, although that gets over, especially in AEW as well. Mm-hmm. Just fill in the gaps. Again, your name is Sky Blue, you wear blue. That is the end of like what has been presented about you. So like, give us a reason to give a shit about you. And then, get right back on Dynamite and Collision. And now we're in. But that's the thing with Sky Blue is she is young, but she's not as young as Billy Starks, who you now have.
Who has an angle. She actually has a good angle going. The whole minion of Athena, it was good. She was on an AEW pay-per-view, the pre-show, but still.
Yeah, it's like, again, part of it's the booking, because Sky Blue has just been, she's a babyface because she doesn't cheat, so we'll throw her out there to get beat by the heels. But there's never any real like growth or development in the character, so now it's just, that's who's losing to whoever they throw out there this week.
And Rob put out there about Sky Blue. He made the talk about Julia Hart, right? We've all marveled at Julia Hart's character work too over the last 6-8 months, right? And Jamie actually made that reference last week as well, Rob, that he would like to see like a female House of Black with Julia leading the women that she's misted. I think that'd be a fantastic idea. And that's something for Sky Blue. She can just shut up and be a pretty face, but now kind of a goth pretty face. Cool. Yeah,
just literally give her anything. Like just something interesting that's not just losing matches.
All right, let's talk. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Yeah. We do our weekly like tangent into like the women's. We care. That's why. It's like they have the people. I apologize.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the tag team match. You had Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho going up against Kyle Fletcher, as we said before, and Konosuke Takeshita. Gents, what'd you think?
Better than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had Omega, so.
Well, you had Omega. Kyle Fletcher is fantastic.
Yeah, and they replaced Sammy Guevara. That already made the match.
that made it fantastic for Austin. This is one of the better matches I've seen Jericho wrestle in months, too, I think. What do you guys think about that? Now, it's a tag team match, so you only got a little bit of Jericho. Maybe that's why.
He looks really good in that Ospreay match.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would agree with you if there wasn't the Ospreay match.
It's a good point. He did look good in the Ospreay match. Touche.
Even then, like, Jericho didn't look bad, but I'm still just like not interested in anything they got Jericho doing. I just need a reset on Jericho. As Heather was saying earlier in the chat, we need a timeout on Chris Jericho, and we've talked about that many times on this show.
So do you even want to really dive into the match, or do you want to go straight after?
Jamie?
Austin, what do you think?
Yeah. I'd say we go into it. Like, let's go in the session.
I thought the match was good. It got a lot of time. It was a good fun tag, but
covered two commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Still too much of him. Yes. I think Kyle Fletcher looked fantastic in this match. Mm-hmm. And if he's going to have to go single for a little bit, this is a great little, kind of intro for people that still haven't, figured it out that he is good.
Well, and I loved how Don Callis kept saying, like, he's a hot prospect. Hot prospect. He said it at least 6 or 7 times, putting over Kyle Fletcher. And rightfully so, because the boy can go.
But then at the finish, when Kyle Fletcher got pinned, he immediately was saying that
yes,
putting it all on Fletcher for being a loser and losing.
He cost us,
Yeah, and I like the way they presented it. You've got someone that's kind of loosely associated with the family, with Ospreay and Aussie Open and all that. And you're saying, like, hey, he was recommended by Ospreay. We're going to take a look at him tonight. He's a hot prospect. And then, because Don Callis is a phenomenal heel, as soon as he eats the pin, he costs us the match. He's trash. We don't need, whatever from there.
It does two things. It, immediately absorbs Takeshita, because he didn't take the pin for one, and, you have a scapegoat. And it leaves that little kind of, put the pin there, because Ospreay's not technically part of the family, although he kind of is, according to Don. If you ask Ospreay, he would say not. So when Ospreay does come over, you've already got a pin waiting there to add to that intro feud as he comes into AEW.
Yeah, I think there, and what's nice is there's many ways you could go with it, but I like the idea of when Ospreay shows up, Callis, Takeshita, unfortunately Sammy's part of that, but maybe they'll change by then, and a third showing up to welcome Ospreay saying, I ain't here to hang out with you guys, I'm coming for the title, and then you get Ospreay and Aussie Open against Takeshita and whatever 2 other guys that got out there as a nice little kickoff to him showing up.
Speaking of which, Jamie, let's go after. You want to talk about the match? What were your thoughts on the match? I feel like
for me, it was fine. It was a good match. It was solid. Like, I am in love with Takeshita. I think he's the future. Like, he's the present and the future. Like, he legit reminds me of a young Okada. Like, everything about him. Size, speed. Like, I'm seeing 2.0. He might be even a little bit faster and stronger. I think he is faster and stronger. But, like, guy's amazing. No, I thought it was fine. I mean, after the match, though, when they duct tape Kenny Omega to the ropes, basically crucified him, and the only reason they were able to get the drop on him is because a new member of the Don Callis family that is not Kyle Fletcher, that is one person who does not have a whole lot of personality, who this will suit very well, in one powerhouse, Hobbs. Very excited about that.
I mean, the second I saw Hobbs be the one to come out, right? Because as Don Callis is walking in the ring, he's smiling. Something's up, right? And the second I saw it was Hobbs, I'm like, God damn it, that was genius.
Yeah,
that's perfect. That's perfect. I love it.
I'm on the fence about Hobbs with the family. I think it could work and could be good. I still would like to see more of Hobbs as his own man for a while, because you had the Team Taz thing, and then you kind of got into the TNT title feud, but then that kind of cooled off for a bit. You had your little deal with Ricky. I would have liked to see more of Hobbs as just a singles competitor. Just like when he came out saying everyone can get it, let me see Hobbs going on a little bit of a tear and just beating up everybody. And like I said earlier, put Wardlow in the family. I think Wardlow needs it a little bit more. Because Hobbs does have a little bit more personality and a little bit more natural charisma. But even then, like, I don't think this was bad. I'm not sad about seeing Hobbs with the family. I just would have liked to see, I want to see Hobbs more of just kind of on his own, just beating people up for a while.
Well, and I hear that. My retort to that is that's the same position that you have with Wardlow Samoa Joe, and Miro. And 2 of those 4 people are legit fantastic doing that on their own. And neither one is Wardlow or Hobbs. Okay.
Well said.
Really quick, because you mentioned Samoa Joe, and I don't know if we got to this or because I think we've covered just about everything.
It was real
Samoa
quick.
Joe's promo with the cigar and the scotch and a suit
Oh my gosh.
was just
Love it.
He's been around for 2 fucking decades, and we just see this new wrinkle out of nowhere, and I'm immediately just like here for it 100%. Like, I want to see Samoa Joe. Actually, you know what? Throw all those guys you just mentioned into a group where Samoa Joe's like the Kingpin, but like the Kingpin in Marvel Comics, where, yeah, he's got henchmen, but after you're done with them, he's the one that's really going to beat your ass. And give me Joe, Miro, Hobbs, and Wardlow just trucking everybody.
dude, and he would call himself the Meat Pin.
Yes.
Oh.
Call him anything.
I
Just
love all of this. I love all of this.
And basically it'd be hilarious. Like they could do it where like their entrance is like send the meat, and then the music would hit, and like 3 dudes would roll out.
Oh
god,
so much
meat monsters.
And all you do is you have Miro, and then of course the lieutenant is Miro, right? You know, because Miro's no slouch in of himself, right? But you have mostly Joe doing the talking or Miro, right? But you have Joe being like, you know, he's talking to Lieutenant, hey, go send out the tenderloin, you know, and then here comes Wardlow. He refers to them as cuts of beef.
Just imagine Blackpool Combat Club being out there, be like, we're ready to fight everybody, and Joe, Miro, Hobbs, and Wardlow showed up saying, bet.
Yeah.
Well, this trip to Fantasy Booking Island was brought to you by USDA Beef. No,
brought to you by Carl's Jr.
It was fantastic. Right. It was so good. All right, sorry. The Meat Club. Yes, Rob. Club. Thank you.
Yes, need it.
Right.
But while we're still on the post-show beatdown. There was one part of it that really bothered me because it makes me long for a simpler time in pro wrestling. And this seems like as good a time as any to maybe drop a little bit of knowledge.
Stash of knowledge.
It's been a few weeks since we had a good stash of knowledge. Let's go.
Yes. Let's. The stash supported by a little bit of a beard of knowledge as well.
Nice.
Because this is a thing in pro wrestling that has been gone for a very long time, and I need it back. And so back in the day, if you had a babyface who was getting beat down or maybe crucified with duct tapes against the ropes, before too long, you would have an army of baby faces clearing out of the locker room to go assist this gentleman. Because in the story of pro wrestling, your baby faces are your good guys, and good guys typically have friends. And Mr. Omega tonight has several friends, one of which was definitely in the building because we saw him wrestle earlier.
Oh, they did explain that away.
But even then, even if, say, the Elite is all locked in a broom closet somewhere, Kenny Omega should be beloved by all of your baby faces. He's kind of like your guy, super nice guy. Everyone likes him. You just had Kenny Omega and Jericho, who was also there getting his ass beat, run into Mr. Adam Copeland in the back 40 minutes before this. Like, hey, great to meet you. Glad you're here. We're all friends now. I just want to see the days come back where your babyface has more friends than the 1 or 2 people you see on camera with, that will see them getting duct taped to the ropes and brained with a chair and be like, let's run out and stop that because we're all babyfaces and this is the right thing to do. It's one of those things that it started getting a little bit of lazy booking, and not just AEW. This goes back decades of pro wrestling. It's been a long time since this was a thing. But it made your baby faces seem more like likable baby faces and good guys. Like you're not gonna see, and I think a lot of it kind of the John Cena thing kind of turned it back in the early 2000s where he started his run and apparently never had friends because no one ever came to help him. But yes, we need to bring that back to pro wrestling. If someone's seeing someone that is generally presented on your show as just a good dude, like if you were in high school and there was a kid you were friends with and some other bully, like some bullies were trying to rough him up, you would have some friends show up and be like, yo, knock that shit off. Yeah. I want to see that in wrestling again. I want baby faces to be baby faces. And there's got to be at least a small handful of you in the back. They're like, hey, man, they're literally crucifying Kenny Omega. Round up the posse. Let's hit the fucking ring right now. Because not only does it make your baby faces look more like baby faces, it makes the baby faces that run out look better by association. And you don't have to keep rolling. It's not like Don Callis and his family have every one of those guys that ran out on their shit list. Your heels are going to realize, oh, we are outnumbered now. Let's get out of here, live to fight another day. The guys that ran out get a nice little rub, and Kenny Omega doesn't get brained with a chair.
On national television.
He's not doing like 15 years ago for a reason.
They even mentioned that after it happened.
I did like Taz pointing that out. But yeah, like just give me some baby faces out for the stage.
That's my rant. That's a fantastic stash of knowledge.
Absolutely correct. Because I mean, it was not that long ago. I was watching like an old Monday Night Raw, where Corporate Rock was beating the shit out of Mankind with the chair, right? And then not even 10 seconds into it, glass breaks, shatters. Here comes Stone Cold. Stone Cold gets knocked out. Here comes Kurt Angle. Like they just keep coming at him, and to your point, it not only does it help the other baby faces, but and how they do it, it could really make that faction look even that much more mean. By if they start mowing down some dudes, it makes them look even more strong. It's like it's a win-win situation when you do stuff like that. I'm 100% supportive of them going back old school, because I was thinking, like, is there seriously no one gonna come? And like Excalibur's like, oh, he went to the hospital and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I know I'm talking like Mickey Mouse, but whatever,
There's nobody else backstage like Kenny Omega.
Well, therein lies the crux of everybody being a tweener, right? You do that, and not only is everybody a tweener, but everybody's sits at their own lunch table, and that's the only people they associate with. Pretty much is what Excalibur basically told the world, right? Yeah. The only people who are going to come save him aren't here.
Yeah.
Why?
And like that makes him not look like much of a baby face.
Where's FTR? FTR is the only ones I feel on the roster who would come out regardless. And they have come out. They help the Young Bucks, and that's something that you don't see happen, right?
Yeah. It's a babyface move that nobody does. And like I said, this isn't AEW specific. This doesn't happen in the other company either. But it's just such an easy way to reinforce your audience. These are the good guys.
Send Pat Buck to the ring.
These are the bad guys. Yeah, send Pat Buck.
Send Pat. Big Rob says send Pat Buck to the ring. Those of you listening here, I don't think that's amazing. The right call, but kudos to you for going that deep there, Rob. Love you.
I love it. I'm supportive of it.
All right. Well, this has been a fantastic stash of knowledge.
Absolutely.
But we got the rare ending of Dynamite without a match.
But it was way better.
Oh.
Oh. This is my match of the night, and it didn't even happen.
Okay. That's unfair. Can't go that way, but okay.
I know. But okay, so we end with Adam Copeland finally speaking.
Surprise.
And honestly, guys, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't remember what the hell he said until after Christian showed up, because it's like fan service stuff. Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Blah blah blah. Like
he gave a list. The only thing I wrote down here is he gave a list of matches, Dream first time matches: Moxley, Omega, Miro, yes please, Hobbs, Jay White, Juice Robinson. Most of those people are on Collision. If you haven't figured it out by now, hello, Edge is here for Collision.
Yes. Then he calls out Christian Cage. And then that's when the magic really happened.
Keep going.
Oh, no. Okay. I was going to say, if you want to hop in there.
No, just keep going. Keep going with it, man.
So Adam and Cage are in the ring. Adam recalls, how they became best friends for life, and that, why is Cage doing the things that he did at WrestleDream? Like and Copeland warns him, like, hey, I know you got Wayne and Luchasaurus. You'll eventually drop you. They'll drop you like a bad habit. But now it's time for them to get back together.
Well, he does go into the whole Sting bit, which I thought was really great. So he said the reason that he stopped him from doing the concertos because it was Sting. It was the Sting. It was the guy that you watch. And it was kind of like, yeah, I grew up watching Sting. Okay, yeah, everybody did, right? Austin, you grew up watching Sting, right? I grew up watching Sting. Hey, Jamie, did you grow up watching Sting? We all grew up watching Sting, right? Everybody did. Get it. But then he digs into that deep cut. And this is the part, and I still don't have Edge, Adam Copeland. I don't think he's like a Mount Rushmore type of wrestler for me. I know some people do view him that high. Kudos to you. Jamie asked me a few weeks back if like Edge coming to AEW. I'm for it. I was like, I'm for it. Cool. I'm not going to get like stupid excited over it though. I do think it's great for the company. I think there's a lot of people who are super pumped for it. Edge has never been like a top guy for me. He's like on that, right below the top level personally. But I understand and value his worth, not only as a competitor, but what he can do for the company and what he can do for the people in the back, for the young rosters. Because all you need to do is listen. If you listen to just a segment of this whole promo he did, listen to the part where he starts going into, you got your haircut like Sting, I got my haircut like Lex Luthor, that was us. And he spent about 30 seconds basically painting the most vivid picture of two childhood best friends running down the street looking like their favorite WCW wrestlers. That got me. And I was like, I'm in now. You got me. Good for you.
Well, we already knew that we were going to be in on this as soon as he showed up.
I know on him.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. It's like,
yeah.
Maybe he's a good
talker.
Who knows?
Yeah, he's a good talker. But then, like, again, so he talks about how, those two need to face FTR, Young Bucks, prove that, they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And, Cage gets the mic. They hug it out. And while they're hugging, Christian Cage says, "Go fuck yourself." And I died.
Chef kiss right there.
It was so good, and the line itself was so good. It almost does a disservice to everything Christian did before that, which was absolutely nothing. And it was perfect. Him just standing there with not quite a straight face, but just like a hint of a scowl, letting his best friend of 40 years say his piece and give this impassioned plea. And Edge's side of it was phenomenal as well. Like you were saying, JJ, when he started hammering in, Sting, that was Sting you were beating up. Sting, you went and got your haircut, like just trying to talk some sense into him. Tell him, dude, I still love you, but that was Sting. Like, what is wrong with you? And Christian just staring, like just emotionless the whole time, turning for the hug, and then just laying in the go fuck yourself and walking away. And then stopping on the way back. Oh, by the way, Adam, in case you forgot what you got on Tuesday, and calling out Luchasaurus. It was great too, in the way that it showed that Edge showing up still doesn't overshadow what Christian is doing right now. Christian is the best heel in the company by far.
In the company?
I would say Christian is the best heel in the company by far, in a company that has Don Callis and Jeff Jarrett in it right now.
I would say Christian is right now the best heel in wrestling.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. It's
a bold statement, but an accurate one.
It is. I mean, you got on the other side of the fence, and your top guy is the heel right over there. So I don't know if that counts because this is like true heelness. Like the heat he had at the end of that show, that was Iron Sheik heat.
Really, really just quick aside, just to go back to WrestleDream for a second on how good of a heel Christian is right now. One of the things about that 2 out of 3 falls match with Darby that I really appreciated was that the first fall was Christian just getting rolled up and pinned like 6 minutes into the match. Like in true heel fashion, the babyface is just going to beat him quick, and then he's got to cheat to leave with his title. Everything he's doing is just on another level right now. And I was excited to see Edge showing up in AEW. I thought there was some fun stuff that could be done.
Sure.
But I'm even more into it tonight with Edge showing up and really still allowing Christian to be that top heel and not taking away from what Christian's doing right now. It was just perfect.
And the two have such a history together. They know this stuff, right? They can run this for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm thinking this, Jamie. You predicted this, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't think Beth is going to be super far behind,
Oh yeah.
And if he does, like it's similar to an angle they played with with who was that in WWE when he first came, was it The Miz or I don't remember, but anyway, they could pull some sort of angle with it there where Christian's basically going after Beth, and that gets the angry Adam Copeland out, right?
Maybe that will lead to us getting Edge and Beth Phoenix against Christian and Nick Wayne's mom.
Oh yes.
Yes, let's go!
Nick Wayne's mom. I am in.
That's why Nick Wayne's mom should have slow clapped the second Nick turned, because this would have been the setup for.
Oh my god, that'd been so great. so I'm gonna come at it from a tiny bit of a different perspective.
Okay, what you got?
And that is because of my family upbringing. So when he said "go fuck yourself," I think that was more of a I'm in, but not right now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is story time with Jamie Faulkner, baby. All right, and when I was a kid, my sister and I used to play this game with my mom.
It is a great story.
And we would just do the worst shit to her, because she was really sensitive because she had a cleft palate when she was a kid and stuff like that. And we used to and this is the 90s too, 80s and 90s. So I just want to make sure I don't get crucified for this. But we would quote movies or TV shows with some handy capable kids, how they were speaking, or we would just do some other stuff. And basically the goal of this game was to get our mom to tell us to fuck off. To say the words, fuck off. And that's how you knew you won. So basically, and then my mom finally got in on the game a little bit. And then it turned into this, we would tell each other fuck off as saying I love you. And it literally in my family, my mom's gone now, but between my sister and I, I'll send her happy birthday, fuck off. I'll send it to her just like that, and she's like, I love you too. It's just one of those things. So I'm thinking it could be something like that, because I would tell my sister to go fuck herself too, because that's what I do.
I think we do eventually get Edge and Christian teaming down the road, but not anytime soon. No. I just think you can't take away from what Christian's doing right now.
This sucker's got
and
legs.
Also, there's a lot of fun singles matches for Adam Copeland as well.
You listed 6 of them right there.
I think it kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but my personal favorite thing about Christian telling Edge to go fuck himself, well, 2 things. One, the delivery was perfect.
Yes.
A lot of times when wrestlers are going to say something like that, and one,
They do like that.
It's still beyond what you would expect on TV. Now it was bleeped out on TV, but the video of the uncensored video was on the internet moments later.
From Tony
The
Khan.
part about it is it wasn't but like 6 months ago that Jericho was trying to get "go fuck yourself" over to no avail. Christian utters it once, and it like set the internet on fire. Beautiful.
This
So
thing's got legs to it. I think it's gonna be great. I think it does wonders too now because you've got. Okay. So there was all the speculation, all the stuff here, and I know over the weekend a lot of people were putting stuff out. Who's the bigger hire for AEW? Was it CM Punk or is it Adam Copeland? At the time it happened, it was CM Punk. I will say that either way, CM Punk was the bigger one of the two. Who's going to be the more beneficial for the company? Adam Copeland.
Absolutely.
Especially with this. Christian is at the top of his heel game. I said this for months. So that's when he first came in. I go, no, you wait. He turns heel. It's going to be gold. He did. It has been. And it's just getting better. And the fact he's taking people under his wing is even better. Because what's the way you combat that? Well, Adam's got to take people under his wing too. Young talent, young rudderless talent that needs to be steered in the ways of the correctness, right? You got your classic good versus evil feud here. It's fantastic. I love all of this. Plus, if it brings Beth over, maybe Sky Blue can get a gimmick finally from somebody who knows how to fucking do it, is all I'm saying.
So, to your point, JJ, like this obviously could be a feud where Edge gets some people around.
Yeah, they're really
you
good.
got Christian with Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. The other way I could see this going that I think would be good as well. Obviously, you've got Edge and Luchasaurus next Tuesday, but going on from that, you could literally have Christian look Edge in the eye and just tell him, I came here first. I did this. I am at the top of my game without you. If you're really my friend, you'll leave me alone. And then you can send Edge off for the first 6 months of his run to go have those singles matches that you've never got to see him have, and then circle back later. So now you've addressed the Christian thing when he first shows up, but you can get away from it for a while to not go right to the obvious thing long-term right away. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see this be a nice little touch just to address it. Like, yeah, they're in the same company. Let them go on their own thing for a while because, I mean, eventually Christian's going to drop the TNT title and need to do something else. Mm-hmm. But you can touch on it now and have that little nugget so you can come back to it later. But don't stop what Christian is doing now by throwing him right into a feud with Edge. That being said, there was a very interesting match made for next week's Dynamite for a number one contendership to the TNT title.
Well, there's a lot of great things on next week's Dynamite. So, quick little side note before Jamie's going to go through the card here in just a second. We are going to be there. Myself and Jamie will. Austin's going to be traveling back from California. And he'll be back. He's going to be jet lagged and everything. But it's on a Tuesday next week, Dynamite, fair warning. We're still going to go on our typical normal time of Wednesday because that's when it works. We're going to be at the show, Jamie and I. And for the first time, I'm sorry, we're not going to run home the second the show's over to try and get a podcast in at midnight on a different. So our typical normal time, 9:30 Central Standard Time next Wednesday. We'll be here to talk about it. I know it'll be a day later, but hey, you could be our day late friend. It's okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if anyone's been counting the number of music references I've been dropping this whole that's a hint, by the way, this whole episode, I'd like a guess in there because it's not, I haven't been given a number to play with, but I've kept a number in my head, just FYI. Jamie, what do we have to pour into our eyeballs live next week?
That's a doozy there. So we're gonna start from the bottom to the top. All right. So you have Jericho versus Hobbs. You have Hanger versus Jay White.
Oh. They just threw that one in at the. Oh, by the way, there's this too. Like,
Oh, well, they threw like a couple of them in because then you also have you have Swerve versus Bryan Danielson, number one contender to the TNT title.
That's the one. Awesome with that.
Then you have Rey Fenix versus Mox 3.
Hmm.
You have Saraya versus Sheeta.
Yep, both of those for titles.
And then you have Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus. That's a card, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
This is Dynamite.
That's like almost pay-per-view quality.
I mean, Tony's like, we serious. Go different night because of hockey. Hockey season's finally starting. Yay!
It's not because of hockey. No. It's baseball playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs. That's right. I forget that the NLDS is on that there. Well, hockey's starting next week too, though. By the way.
Yeah, but it's not because hockey. No one cares about hockey in the United States.
I disagree with that. A lot of people care about hockey. All right.
Not many people who care about playoff baseball.
I don't know. Did you see the stands at the Tampa Bay game?
Well, that's
different. I gotta say, I prefer playoff hockey to playoff baseball.
Playoff hockey is one of the overtime playoff hockey is one of the best things in sports. I'll fight anybody on that. Not the best.
Playoff baseball. Playoff
baseball is fantastic, but overtime playoff hockey, especially when it gets like deep multiple overtimes. Oh my god! Anyway. Tony's going up against Tony's on a different night going up against NXT directly again. Yeah, he put on a show. He always gets us bangers though. Like we've seen so many. We saw Ospreay's AEW debut, Kenny Omega versus Pac Iron Man match, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else have we seen? We've seen some ridiculous stuff he's put on for us here in Kansas City.
El Vikingo.
Oh.
Yeah, we've had our eyes pleased. Back in the days of Dark, we did get to see Ruby going up against Heidi Howitzer. So that was nice. Hopefully we might get another Dark match with one Heidi Howitzer again. Somebody on this might have insight as to if she's going to be there
I
or
can
not.
find out who she's wrestling and wear her shirt as well, so that when she comes to see us afterwards, I'll be wearing her opponent's shirt.
She's going to be there. If she is doing something, she probably won't find out till later that afternoon, because when she was there in Denver a week or two ago, I don't think they had finalized the card till like 3 p.m.
Oh, wow.
That sounds about
on
right.
that one. I have no inside information, but if I get the Iggy a little early, I'll let y'all know.
Perfect. Yeah. No, we're gonna be excited. Hopefully she could stop by our suite as well. That'd be really cool because Audrey absolutely adores Heidi.
All right, let's talk. Okay, all right. Christian Father of the Year, the gimmick, we get it. But look at this guy over here trying to get Father of the Year, taking his daughter. This is Audrey's first AEW show, if I'm not mistaken.
First ever AEW show.
And you're putting her in a suite. No, I don't.
Yes.
We always do that. We have a group of friends here, Rob's included, our friend Rob in chat. He's going to be there with us. But first AEW show, girl gets to go in a suite. Look at that. Look at that Dad of the Year candidate over there. Look at that guy.
And not only is this sweet, she gets to see Edge's first ever match. Sorry, Adam Copeland's first ever match in AEW.
And knowing who we know and where our suite's at, we're going to have somebody stop by. Like, I think Bryce comes by. Bryce has come by like every time, right? Because Bryce knows Walter.
And then like when we go up there, catering's right there, so everybody's like just hanging out.
Yeah, we saw Jade and Ricky just kind of like, just shooting the shit over there, like 10 feet from us, so it's
yeah.
Hey, if you got a group of friends, people, do the suite. It's fantastic way to watch a wrestling match. Like, we're now spoiled where me and Jamie, like, we'll get tickets to shows and we're like, this is okay.
Yeah, like the suite is definitely the way to go. It's just, now that I go, like, I'm either going to be front row or suite. Like, I don't want to be like in the regular.
Right. The 100 level, about 100 level of 10 rows up. That's not good enough anymore. No, that's not good.
Yep. No, I don't meddle with pores.
So we'll have all the deets on everything. recap of the show. It's going to be an all-out banger next
For sure.
Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel, even though Dynamite's on Tuesday. So there you go, guys. All right. Well, congratulations, Jamie, on retaining your title.
That's what I do.
Congratulations, Austin, for being back again. I don't know.
Growing in his beard under his mustache. I've yet to accomplish either of those feats.
You can grow a halfway decent mustache.
I can. I think I will.
Fully decent like Austin, but it's halfway decent.
No, this is glorious.
Not many can grow a mustache like this.
That's fucking glorious. It's like Wyatt Earp level, like glorious.
You have to lose the hair on top before you can really come out with the hair on the bottom.
See, that's your problem, Jamie. That's your problem.
I got full head. I'm sorry. It's starting to gray out a little bit. I'm getting a couple grays here and there.
Again,
that's the trade-off. Like I can grow a great mustache, but I started balding at like 22. Yeah. You win some, you lose some.
That's fair.
Fun story. I haven't shaved my head in almost 2 weeks. Can you tell?
I gotta hit mine with the clippers once a week, or I start getting like the Arn Anderson, where it's just the bowl, the monk cut.
I get a little bit. So the sides and the back, I get a little bit. There's technically some hair right in here, but it's so few and fine. Only I can only if you feel it. So hey. Enough of us being old problems. That's how we started the show. That's how we're going to end it. So we're a bunch of old guys talking about wrestling. We'll be back next week. Follow us on Twitter at Total Spotfest. I do have, if you're watching us online, I do have the URL up there. We're actually changing the website host and everything. We're going to have a revamped merch table, though. So keep an ay out. More details on that to come here in the upcoming weeks. But definitely follow us on Twitter. Follow Austin, too, while you're at it. See when he's wrestling next. I know you're wrestling in Leavenworth coming up here. Wichita, I know you guys show coming up as well, right?
Leavenworth. I forget the Leavenworth date. I know October 20th is Triple L in Denver, and October 21st is HCW here in Wichita. So that's what I got coming up next. I got a nice couple of weeks off before then.
I remember you saying HCL was somewhere in Leavenworth, like somewhere in November-ish.
Yeah, I know. HCW is running Leavenworth. I want to say they're running Leavenworth November 4th, which is the same night that Collision is in Wichita. And then they're doing another Wichita show later that month. So, yeah, I'm be wrestling places.
If you follow him at Reddick Rules, you'll know all these things. But
follow me on Twitter and you'll see the places I wrestle.
Follow him on Twitter while you're doing stuff that we're asking. Hey, hi, welcome to YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. Helps us out quite a bit, guys.
Means a lot. Means a lot.
So we'll be back next week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you giving us some of your time. Jamie, take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 5 words for you. The champ is still here.
Put still in there, you son of... All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.